Over the years, there have been some exciting quarterback rivalries, taking it all the way back to Joe Montana and John Elway, Brett Favre and Steve Young, Joe Flacco and Big Ben, even Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. But now we have Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, and every time they take the field versus each other, it's always a movie. Drafted in consecutive years, Mahomes in 2017 and Allen in 2018, these dynamic quarterbacks has transformed their team into AFC powerhouses. By the end of this video, you'll see some of the best comebacks, MVP moments, and know the current record between the two quarterback stars and how their exciting rivalry came about.
Josh's biggest fear.
Vegetables.
A coin toss.
The first coin toss set the stage for an epic showdown in Week 6 of the 2020 NFL season as the Chiefs traveled to Buffalo. Both teams came in 4-1, so somebody was walking with their second L of the season. As the rain poured down on the Bills Stadium, the weather seemed to foreshadow the struggles Josh would face this day. The Chiefs, led by an already established superstar, came in with a clear game plan: eat up the clock, punch holes through the Bills defense, and keep Josh watching from the bench. And boy, did they execute that plan. The Chiefs' time of possession was 37 minutes to the Bills' 22. Mahomes wasn't just good, he was surgical, connecting on 21 of 26 passes, racking up 225 yards and 2 touchdowns, both to his guy, 87. But the Chiefs weren't all about their air game this night. Their running backs tore through the Buffaloes like a cheat code. Clyde Edwards led the team with 26 carries and 161 yards. But as a team, they put up a jaw-dropping 245 rushing yards. While Josh was having one of those nothing's going right type of nights, still in the middle of his breakout season, he battled not just the Chiefs' defense, but also the weather. Their run game wasn't that hot, with only 84 total rushing yards as a team. And the rain turned his passes into wild pitches, and he finished with just 122 yards on 14 of 27 attempts. He did throw 2 touchdowns to keep the Bills in it, but on what would be the final drive of the game, with a minute 20 left, a costly interception would end the game, and it was a gut punch. When the clock hit 0, the scoreboard read 26-17 in favor of Kansas City. The Chiefs had flexed their dominance, and Josh and the Bills were left to regroup. It was clear that Mahomes and the Chiefs were on a whole different level, but what nobody realized was that this rain-soaked battle wasn't just a game. It was the start of something bigger, something legendary, the first chapter of what will become one of the NFL's most electrifying rivalries. They will meet back up later this season in the AFC Championship game, which was the kind of game that NFL fans dream about. Two of the league's hottest young quarterbacks, Josh and the Bills, had made it to the AFC Championship for the first time since 1993, and Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs were trying to make it back to the Super Bowl in back-to-back years, going head-to-head for the second time of the season, this time under the bright lights of Arrowhead Stadium. With the trip to the Super Bowl on the line, the stakes couldn't have been higher. The Bills came out swinging, silencing the small Kansas City crowd early with a 9-0 lead in the first quarter. First, it was a 51-yard field goal. Then a mistake by the Chiefs' punt return team put Josh in the perfect position to get into the end zone. Josh Allen looked locked in, and the Bills could feel the energy. But if there's one thing that we've learned about Mahomes and the Chiefs, it is this: they don't panic, they counterpunch. And when they hit, it's like a freight train. The second quarter was pure chaos, and Pat Mahomes was the conductor of that train. They put up 21 unanswered points, flipping the game on its head. Travis was unstoppable, snagging 2 touchdowns like he was playing in a pickup game in the backyard, while Tyreek, aka Cheetah, turned the field into his own personal racetrack with 172 yards on 9 catches. He left the Bills secondary in dust, juking and spinning like he had cheat codes activated. But Josh wasn't about to let the Bills go down easy. He showcased why he's one of the NFL's most exciting dual-threat QBs, throwing for 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, and rushed for 88 yards. But Steve Spag, the Chiefs defensive coordinator, had a plan to slow him down. As the game went on, the Chiefs defense contained Josh, forcing him to operate within the pocket, where the pressure was relentless, getting to him 4 times, losing a total of 53 yards. Even with the odds stacked against them, Buffalo kept fighting. With the late game touchdown but a failed 2-point conversion, a successful onside kick gave the Bills Mafia hope. But they were held just to another field goal, and the 3rd and 10 conversion by Chiefs running back Darrell Williams put the game away. When the final whistle blew, the scoreboard read 38-24 in favor of Mahomes again. He was in full MVP mode, throwing for 325 yards and 3 touchdowns, reminding everyone why he was the new face of the NFL. The Chiefs were Super Bowl bound for the 2nd straight year, and the confetti falling on Arrowhead was another chapter of their dynasty in the making. For the Bills, it was a tough pill to swallow. They had came so far only to fall short. But for Allen and his squad, it wasn't the end, it was the beginning. because the next season was the redemption game. Week 5 of the 21 season, Arrowhead Stadium was jumping. The Bills were hungry, coming in 3-1 to face the 2-2 Chiefs. This game had the vibes of a heavyweight title fight. Josh Allen and the Bills were back, ready to settle the score against Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs as a whole. This wasn't just a game, it was personal. From the jump, you could tell it wasn't the same Bills team that got humbled in the AFC Championship game. Josh stepped onto the field like he had something to prove. On the opening drive, he didn't just lead the Bills down the field, he capped it with a filthy 9-yard touchdown run, plowing through defenders. And that was just a warm-up. He started slinging darts. A 35 beauty to Emmanuel Sanders for a touchdown, then a 61-yard bomb to Stephon Diggs on the 3rd and 8. Absolute perfection, leaving Arrowhead crowd stunned and silent. But the Bills weren't just cooking on offense. Their defense showed up with bad intentions. The moment that flipped the game was a tipped ball by Tyreek into the Bills DB, Micah Hyde's hands, taking it back to the house for a pick 6. This 26-yard return had the Bills sideline going wild and put the Chiefs on life support. Pat was being himself though. He put up 272 and 2 touchdowns, but it just wasn't his night. The Bills defense had him running for his life, forcing 2 interceptions and making his life miserable that day. When the clock read double zeros, at the end, Bills had 38 to the Chiefs 20. Josh Allen, straight up unstoppable. He finished with 315 passing yards, 4 total touchdowns, 3 through the air and another on the ground. This wasn't just a win, it was a flex. The Bills sent a message loud and clear, announcing their arrival as true contenders in the AFC. For Allen, it was more than a W. It was proof that he could go toe-to-toe with Mahomes and come out on top. As the Bills celebrated under the Kansas City lights, one thing was crystal clear. This rivalry was just heating up, and the NFL world took notice. A new chapter in this thrilling quarterback rivalry had been written, and the best was yet to come. Now buckle up, because this next game is going to be talked about for years and years to come. The Bills seemed destined to take over the league as Kansas City fell to 2-3, but quickly their record went from 2-3 to 3-4, but then to 12-5. Risen from the ashes of their early season disappointments, Kansas City was once again back on top. The Bills, meanwhile, had lost 5 of their 8 games in their mid-season stretch, but a late push to 4 straight wins pulled them into the playoffs with an 11-6 record as the 3rd seed. Both teams handled the wildcard round. The Chiefs slaughtered the Steelers 42-21, and Buffalo dominated the Patriots in the NFL's first ever perfect game. Josh Allen's 5 touchdown performance led Buffalo to a touchdown on every possession, and his confidence was sky high entering the 21 divisional round. The 2021 AFC divisional round playoff game between these two, now etched in the NFL history as the 13-2 game, is one of the best postseason performances NFL fans have ever seen. On January 23, 2022, Arrowhead Stadium became the stage for an epic duel between 2 of the league's most electrifying quarterbacks. The game started as a back-and-forth affair, both quarterbacks showcasing their talents on their first drives. Josh used his dual threat abilities to push the offense down the field. He used his cannon arm and feet to keep the drive alive. Singletary was the first to find the end zone on a 4th and goal play. Mahomes got the ball and was doing shit like this.
Steps up away from it. He's going to take off. And look at this game. Down the middle he goes.
You rarely see Pat Mahomes taking off getting huge gains like that, but that's actually how they got their first points on the board. A Patrick Mahomes scrambled and laid out for the pylon for a score. As the 4th quarter began, a 2-score game, 23-21 Chiefs. The tension in Arrowhead was high. What followed was a sequence of events that will be talked about for years to come. The final 2 minutes of regulation saw 3 lead changes. Let me say that again. The final 2 minutes of regulation saw 3 lead changes, each more dramatic than the last. With just over 2 minutes remaining and 13 yards to go on 4th down, Josh Allen was in his bag as he found wide open Gabe Davis in the end zone and found Diggs on the 2-point to go up 3 with 1:54 left on the clock. But that boy Patrick got a bag of his own. He found Tyreek on a 13-yard pass and Reek did the rest and took it for 64 yards to the crib. This touchdown electrified the home crowd, but it would quickly turn into the Josh Allen and Gabe Davis show as they put together a masterful drive with just 57 seconds left. After 2 big gains to move the chains, then another to Sanders, Josh found Gabe for another go-ahead touchdown with just 13 seconds left on the clock. The Bills sideline went crazy, believing they just secured their ticket to another AFC championship.
It's the first 4-touchdown reception game in NFL playoff history.
But these last 13 seconds will prove to be an eternity for Patrick Mahomes. In a display of poise and precision that would define his legacy, Mahomes put up 2 quick completions, moving the Chiefs into field goal range. A 49-yarder with 3 seconds left, season on the line. The kick was sending the game into overtime. Bro, what the hell? I'm sure is what all the fans in the stands were thinking at this moment to what they just witnessed. And that coin toss Pat was referring to that Josh was scared of at the beginning of this video came from this game, which a lot of quarterbacks fall victim to. Just look at Baker Mayfield's reaction as he lost the coin toss to Patrick in an overtime game earlier this season. That boy knew right then and there that it was over. But back to this game's coin toss, you can tell that quick walk-off by Josh, he was pissed, which became a pivotal moment, with the Chiefs winning and electing to receive. The sudden death nature of the NFL overtime meant that a touchdown would end the game, and Mahomes seized the opportunity. Play after play, he marched the Chiefs down the field, then trusted 87 in the end zone to close out the game. The final score, 42-36, barely scratched the surface of the drama that unfolded. Josh Allen's effort, which included 4 touchdown passes to Gabe Davis, an NFL playoff record, was ultimately overshadowed by Mahomes' late-game heroics. This game showcased the league's shift towards high-octane offenses and superstar quarterbacks. The duel between Mahomes and Allen set a new standard for postseason excellence, with both quarterbacks throwing for over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, while also rushing over 50 yards, a first in NFL history. As the confetti fell on Arrowhead Stadium again, the NFL world knew they had witnessed something special. The 13-second game will go on to win the 2022 ESPY Award for Best Game, a fitting tribute to a contest that will be remembered as one of the greatest in NFL playoff history. We also received this legendary pick from Stephon Diggs, as his team fell short again to the Kansas City Boys in a very important game. This epic battle not only advanced the Chiefs to another AFC championship, but it also solidified the Allen and Mahomes rivalry as the NFL's most exciting quarterback duos for years to come. In week 6 of the 2022 season, they were walking into the game with the same record for the second time in this series, both at 4-1. So what does that mean? Somebody was walking away with their second L of the season. From the opening whistle, it was clear this game would live up to the hype. Both of their opening drives ended with turnovers in the red zone, but Josh and Patrick kept firing. Josh's arm was on full display, connecting with his receivers for big gains. But it wasn't just his passing that impressed. Josh was out there hurdling the Chiefs defenders, reminding everyone of his dual threat capabilities. On the other side, Mahomes was himself, escaping pressure and finding his open guys down the field. However, the Bills' defense, boasted by the offseason addition of Von Miller, was relentless. Miller's presence was felt throughout this game, as he consistently pressured Pat, disturbing his offensive rhythm. With the late touchdown catch by Dawson Knox with about a minute left and a 24-20 score in favor of the Bills, the Chiefs had one last chance to snatch the victory. Patrick, known for his late game heroics, drove the team down the field, but just as it seemed the Chiefs might pull off another miracle, Mahomes threw an INT, which sealed the victory for the Bills. The final stats of this closely fought battle, Josh finished with 329 yards and 3 touchdowns, while Mahomes threw for 338 yards and 2 touchdowns, with 2 crucial interceptions. This victory wasn't just another notch in the win column for the Bills. It was a testament that they could come win in Arrowhead, a place that had haunted them in previous seasons. As the rest of their season, both teams continued to excel. The Bills finished with an impressive 13-3 record, clinching the AFC East title for the 3rd consecutive year. They went on to defeat Miami in the wildcard round, 34-31. However, their Super Bowl dreams were cut short in the divisional round, where they fell to Cincinnati 27-10. And for Mahomes and the Chiefs, finished the regular season with a 14-3 record, securing the top seed in the AFC. They went on to win Super Bowl 57, defeating the Eagles. The next time they would meet was over a year later, and it was the lowest scoring of their meetings, featuring 4 combined turnovers and 8 punts, and saw both teams making costly errors. The Bills' defense started out stronger as the offense took a 14-point lead. This game, Josh threw for 233 yards and added a crucial rushing touchdown, demonstrating his ability to make plays when it mattered most. But Kansas stayed close, allowing just 3 points to the Bills for most of the second half and leaving the game tied up until the 2-minute warning in the 4th. On the first play after the 2-minute warning, Buffalo kicked the field goal to take the lead. But remember, Pat got things done in 13 seconds in the pass, and there was still plenty of time for KC to do something. However, the game's most controversial moment was yet to come. In a play that will be talked about for weeks, Pat connected with Kelsey well on field goal range, range. But going for it all, Travis latered the ball to Kadarius Toney, scoring what appeared to be the go-ahead touchdown. The entire stadium erupted, believing they just witnessed another miraculous comeback. But the celebration was short-lived. Officials called an obvious offsides by Toney, wiping off the touchdown. The call sent shockwaves through the stadium and ignited a firestorm of debate. And the next two plays were a deflected pass at the line, then an incomplete pass. The Chiefs' final drive was stalled, and the Bills held on for a 20-17 victory. Patrick Mahomes, usually composed, was heated. He screamed at the officials. His frustration boiled over as he felt the game had been taken out of the players' hands. In a post-game press conference, the controversy continued to simmer. Andy Reid called the penalty embarrassing for the NFL.
Normally I get a warning before something like that happens in a big game. A bit embarrassing in the National Football League for that to take place.
As Mahomes expressed his disbelief, stating he had never seen such a call in his career.
Fucking terrible. Fucking worst call I've ever fucking seen, man.
But it's like, bro, dude was offsides. The win was a significant moment for Josh Allen and the Bills. It not only evened the series, but also proved that Josh could manage a victory in high-stakes situations against his rival. For the Chiefs, the loss was a bitter pill to swallow, leaving them to question what might have been. January 21st, 2024 was their third playoff matchup in 4 seasons. It was bound to be an interesting showdown. This game was hosted in Buffalo for the first time since 2020. The Bills had clawed their way to this moment, bouncing back from a shaky 6-6 start to finish 11-6. Their late season run capped by stealing the AFC East from Miami. And their early win over Kansas City was a tiebreaker that gave them home field advantage. On the flip side, the Chiefs, fresh off a shocking loss to the Raiders, had everyone questioning their dominance. But doubts about playoff Pat never last long. From the kickoff, it was clear the game was going to be a war. The first half was a back and forth battle. The Chiefs' offense was steady but not explosive, settling for just 2 field goals and a touchdown. Meanwhile, Josh Allen and the Bills were rolling, using his legs to punch in 2 rushing touchdowns. At halftime, Buffalo had a slight 17-13 lead, and the crowd at Hallmark Stadium was rocking. As for the second half, it was total chaos. Mahomes came out the gate on a mission, leading a fast 3-minute and 12-second 75-yard drive to retake the lead. But Buffalo wasn't about to fold. Josh responded with a 15-play drive that ate up over 8 minutes and ended with Josh finding Khalil in the end zone. Buffalo fans erupted, only for Mahomes to lead the offense back down the field on another long 75-yard drive 4 minutes later, with Pacheco finding the end zone. The Chiefs were back on top, 27-24, with the fourth quarter ticking away. Then things got weird. With the game on the line, the Bills tried a crazy fake punt on a 4th and 5 from their own 30-yard line and was stopped. The Chiefs took their opportunity, but a fumble at the goal line that went into the end zone gave Buffalo the ball back, a true lifeline for the Bills. The game settled into a tense rhythm, getting stops, forcing both teams to punt until the Bills got the ball with 8 minutes left. This was Buffalo's moment, and Josh Allen was ready to deliver, but Stephon Diggs wasn't. On the first play of the drive, Josh threw a perfect ball, a 50-yard beauty that dropped right into Diggs' hands. The defender stumbled. The end zone was wide open and the crowd was already celebrating. Then heartbreak. Diggs dropped it. The offense wasn't done fighting, but after a close call of Josh almost turning the ball over on a fumble, then recovered by one of his offensive linemen, he rallied the offense, pushing them down to the Chiefs' 26-yard line. Down 3 with the game on the line, Tyler Bass lined up for a 44-yard field goal to tie the game. As the crowd held their breath, the kick veered wide right and the game was over. Mahomes calmly picked up a first down to seal it, and the Bills' season ended in another crushing disappointment. This wasn't just another playoff loss for Buffalo. It was an end of an era. That dropped pass by Diggs felt symbolic. The final blow in a season filled with highs and lows. As the Chiefs celebrated yet another trip to the AFC Championship, questions began to circulate about what comes next for the Bills and their once dominant duo of Josh Allen and Diggs. In a highly anticipated Week 11 matchup on November 17, 2024, Buffalo faced off Kansas City, marking a pivotal moment in the NFL season. The Bills, looking for yet another chance to assert their dominance in the AFC, aimed to end the Chiefs' undefeated streak, while Kansas City sought to maintain their perfect record. From the opening kickoff, it was intense. Josh still showcasing his dual threat capabilities. He threw for 262 yards and rushed for a key touchdown. In a defining moment of the game, Josh executed a spectacular 26-yard touchdown run on 4th and 2 with just over 2 minutes left, showing his strength and agility as he bounced off defenders to reach the end zone. Pat Mahomes had an alright game. It wasn't his best of the season, but he still completed 23 of 33 passes for 196 yards and 3 touchdowns, but also suffered from 2 interceptions. Despite his efforts and the connections with tight end Noah Gray and Worthy for touchdowns, the Chiefs struggled to find their rhythm against the relentless Bills defense, in which the Bills defense forced crucial turnovers that kept Mahomes and the Chiefs on their heels, in which a pivotal interception by linebacker Terrell Bernard sealed the game. The game concluded with a score of 30-21 in favor of the Bills, marking a historic victory for Buffalo as they handed Kansas City their first loss of the season. This win not only improved the Bills' record to 9-2, but it also allowed Josh to claim an important win to tie Patrick Mahomes in their series, in what promises to be a tight playoff race again. Josh currently leads 4-1 in regular season to Mahomes 3-0 in the playoffs, making the final record 4 wins for Josh to Patrick's 4. As both teams look ahead to the playoffs, this thrilling game has set the stage for what could be another chapter in their growing rivalry. With both teams most likely to meet again in postseason play, fans can expect even more fireworks when these two AFC powerhouses see each other again.